Hey, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on NewsTalk, 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO in Lubbock, Texas. You can listen online at KFYO.com if you are not in the hub city or in and around West Texas. You can always listen online at KFYO.com or via the Radio Pup app. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, at Chad Hasty Radio. Well, while everybody else is talking about James Comey, and yes, I'm sure I'll talk about it on the Friday edition of the program, I want to pay attention to a little bit of Texas politics. Texas Governor Greg Abbott joined me on the Thursday edition of the program, and the Texas governor, well, he kind of took a few swipes at the Texas House, but also took a few swipes at, I guess, a couple other people, but his main beef, it seems, is with the Texas House. During the program, I asked the governor about his priorities versus the priorities of House Speaker Joe Straus. And the governor having said this, and you can watch the interview here on our YouTube channel. You can also go to KFYO.com, see some of the back and forth as far as the quotes go. Straus prioritized items that were along the lines of what his priorities were. The governor said, I laid out a special session on the items I consider to be priorities for the state of Texas. These are all items that will make the state of Texas even better. If the legislators are not going to take care of business during the regular session, then I'm going to make sure that we have a special session and that it counts, that focuses on the issues that I know are important for our fellow Texans. Well, when I heard the governor say that, I went, wait a minute. There's got to be a little bit more here, because it still seems like the governor's saying his priorities and the speaker's priorities are a little bit out of whack. I give credit here to Patrick Svitek of the Texas Tribune, who actually wrote out what this portion, when I asked the governor, can you kind of clarify here, do you think your priorities were different than Speaker Straus's priorities? Patrick Svitek tweeted out basically the conversation at that point, in which the governor said, quote, in my conversations and also my perceptions, it seemed like his priorities, Speaker Straus, differed from, for example, these priorities that I have on the special session call. His priorities differed from the deals that we were trying to broker at the end of the session. To me, the examples, and that is I called in my State of the State address that I gave at the very beginning of the session for meaningful property tax reform several weeks before the end of the session. I said publicly in the press that there were a couple of items that were must-pass items in order for this session to be concluded successfully. One of those was property tax reform. I know that I articulated both in my State of the State address as well as during the course of the session, and that is to have at least some form or ability, especially for parents of special needs children, to have the opportunity to pick a school that is right for them. None of these had any opportunity of being addressed in the Texas House of Representatives. Finally, I asked the governor, do you really think you can get all of these 20 things through like this Texas legislature, 20 items in 30 days? The governor said, well, he does believe that they can get everything done. He said, we don't need to waste time by coming in 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then adjourning at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They, talking about the House, they need to come to Austin with their work hat on. They've had plenty of time to get this done. If they don't get it done, it's because they're lazy. It's because they have a lack of will, a lack of desire to get this done, and the taxpayers in the state of Texas are not going to tolerate it. Now, the Dallas Morning News, they came out with a piece later on in the afternoon saying that it was the lieutenant governor who kind of pushed everything towards a special session because he had made a phone call to members of the Texas House Freedom Caucus. The Dallas Morning News citing a lobbyist in a text message that the lobbyist received, but in the text message, it was apparently a text message to a lobbyist from Representative Kyle Biederman, a member of the self-styled House Freedom Caucus. Apparently, the Dallas Morning News still hasn't seen this tweet because they don't have any evidence that it actually existed. They put in here, whether the call happened or not, it's clear the bill-killing spree helped Patrick at the special session he wanted. I would say here, the Dallas Morning News, it seems like they're going after and saying that Dan Patrick and the House Freedom Caucus is the reason why we have a special session. The governor, who was on with me, said, well, looks like it's the House that is actually at fault here and the Speaker's priorities that were out of whack with mine. It seems as though no matter what, if we would have had the sunset legislation pass or not, we would have gone into a special session. The governor calling out the Speaker of the House, basically saying his priorities did not align with my priorities, is a big deal. So, why do we have a special session? It's because Republicans, conservatives, can't get on the same page. They have the next, I guess less than a month to start getting on the same page before the special session begins. And a lot of conservatives want to see the legislation that was brought up by Governor Abbott pass. Governor Abbott throwing his weight around now publicly. We'll see how much longer it lasts. This is something that he needed to do, and something I think a lot of people felt like he needed to do weeks and months ago. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO. Thanks for watching.